God. Ready?
This is a little so much.
Yeah, we're ready.
We're good to go?
Yeah, we're recording.
All right, is there anything you don't want to talk about on here?
We can cut out anything.
What are we getting into?
I have no idea.
You're going to ask me about my...
It's the standard. We've done this.
Yeah, like Charles will sit down and he'll be like, so what's your relationship like with your father? I'm like...
Charles will be like,
Yeah, literally.
how many people
Literally. The most personal questions that you could ever want with the smell of garbage in the background. Now I'm kind of desensitized to it.
Good way to start.
I hope we're recording this, because this is
your go time.
fucking insane. All right. Greg, you ready?
Yeah, I guess.
Take one.
Take one.
Yeah, kid, welcome to another episode of one of the last episodes of the year and the last episode of our journey together. There was a beginning, there was a middle, there was a lot, and this is the end. But it's been very exciting.
Almost the end, yep.
Smells like happy with Handsome. Obviously, if you have a house you want to sell, I'm quick, I'm easy, you know. I want to buy it, 516-777 sold. If you have permit problems, Scott, who you got to call?
Captain Permit.
That's right, 516-513-8838. Yo, Levy's out with COVID right now. We miss him, we love him, but you're giving Levy a run for his money. The last thing we got to see, if you're ready for there, or Scott, is what's my Spanish name?
Oh boy.
I didn't even get that.
Wow. Greg, did you have that?
I don't know if I would have gotten the pronunciation.
Wow. Very impressive. So, speaking of impressive, it's been a year.
Almost a year, yeah.
Why are you twisted up tighter than a pretzel right now?
Because that's how I sit. Why do you look like a newspaper boy?
Okay, so for those of you who've never tuned into any of our Amanda Palmeri podcasts, we started out with 4, then we went down to 2, and now we're kind of at like 2.5 to 3. So for those of you who don't know, last year, was it in December we had this conversation?
Right, December.
Amanda and I started talking on Facebook. She was a new agent. I speak to lots of different agents. That's how I do deals. And by some strange thing, I don't know, I think I was pissed off about something. You know how I get into these kind of little manic tangents on shit? And I was like, F brokers, broker beef, they don't do shit for their agents, because I guess
Oh yes.
we were kind of talking about social media and marketing and you know, how would you ultimately build your business as a new agent.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? We're gonna do this thing where I'm gonna get 2 of my buddies together, we're gonna mentor you, and we're gonna see what happens over the course of a year.
Right.
And it's been a year. And we've been documenting the process. This is our fourth one of these?
I think 4th or 5th.
So first, it started out with me, JB Bolvedin, Dan O'Neill, and you. The first podcast.
Firing squad.
Yeah, the firing squad was the second one, I think.
Yeah, the firing squad was the second one. I thought I was going to pass out.
And the second one was all 4 of us. Yeah, that was tough.
Intense.
And then it was just you and I. And you and I have basically, metaphorically beat the hell out of each other for the entire year on the quest to make you the best agent you possibly can.
Right.
Should we talk about the results?
Sure.
Drum roll. So 12 months.
A broker switch.
Oh yeah, and a broker switch. I tortured you through that also. We'll talk about that. 15 deals.
15 deals.
Which is a really big deal.
Which is not 50. You put out the number of 50 everywhere.
But that was
you're selling 50 houses? I'm like, I don't think so. Yeah, but 15, I'm pretty happy with 15.
But we have a new established goal for 2022, which we'll come back to, which is 4 a month, which is 48, which is basically getting you to that 50.
Right.
Right? So, and we'll get there. But I want to talk about this is the wrap up. I want to talk about, what you've learned, what you thought this was all going to be. So let's start with that.
Okay.
What did you think being an agent was going to be like? What are your perceptions? Because you came in green. You hadn't done anything. We met, you were a brand new agent.
Yeah.
What was your perception of what your first year in real estate was going to be like versus what it actually was?
Honestly, I didn't have an expectation. I knew it was going to be difficult. I didn't really know where my business was going to come from. And I kind of learned that sometimes things just like roll into each other. It's like every time I feared that I would never get another deal, or where's my next lead going to come from?
Okay.
Which is just my personality.
Yeah,
I
which
freak
is
out about everything.
every time a deal happens.
Once I kind of got that first one, I'm like, where's my next one going to come from? And then it just kind of kept flowing. And once I got that momentum, I kind of navigated and figured it out. I don't know. I wasn't expecting to do 15 deals.
You were expecting to do more or less?
I thought I was going to end up doing less.
Really?
And I didn't know how I was going to be, because people think it's just like flashy and it's fun to say you're in real estate, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. And I think I came in when the market was very, very good, which a lot of agents do, and it's very easy. But now I've been kind of on the other side of the market where things are slowing down a little, and your job kind of shifts because you kind of have to work a little bit harder than you did even in the beginning of the summer. I've seen the market shift a little bit, so.
But let me interrupt here. For the agents that are out here watching this, listening to that, that's not an excuse, because the agents that do a lot of business are still doing a lot of business regardless.
Yeah, of course.
Keep going.
Yeah, of course. I think it depends on your drive, which is what I'm saying. You can't, deal after deal, as I have had these leads come in, it's made me hungry for more and more and more. I feel like I wish that I did more. I'm happy with what I did, but 2022, I want to do bigger and better.
No, which is awesome. But
Yeah.
I mean, I will very publicly say this. Obviously there was a lot of battles. We had a lot of battles.
I think you just think that you're right about everything.
I'm right most of the time.
Well, we could beg to differ on that.
It's not necessarily that I'm that smart. I'm just like a lot.
You have a certain way of doing things.
I'm a lot older than you.
Yeah, you have a certain way of doing things, and you want everyone to kind of do it your way. And it kind of took me a little bit longer because I am very stubborn.
Scott, is any of this true?
I think that's it.
Greg?
It's true. All of it.
See? Yep. Very persistent.
Yeah, okay. So, but I was right a lot.
I feel like I had to go through my own
What
journey.
was I wrong about? You're right about that. What was I wrong about?
You know what? Looking back on it, I can't, right now in this moment, I'm sure if you get back to me in like 15 minutes, I could think of something, but
right, well, this is gonna go
I
forever,
always
Andy.
tell you that had I not met you, I don't know where I would be at this point. You definitely have pushed me along and helped me in many ways, so.
So I want to very publicly tell you that I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I mean that. You have struggled through a lot of things, both personally and professionally this year. Big things, family moving down south, all that stuff, and you have really grown as a person.
Thank you.
If even if you look at like a picture of you if you look at the first podcast versus what you look like now, I joke.
Yeah, are you gonna say?
I joke
you're
around
gonna
with
tell
you.
everyone. Charles told me that I looked disheveled when I came on the first podcast. That my hair was a mess and my clothes were baggy.
I mean, well, in the words of Greg, all true.
It was very nice to me.
And then during the process, there was a time where I actually turned to her and I was like, I see you maturing like you're becoming a woman. And you looked at me like, I'm 28 years old. What do you mean, you asshole?
It's
You're
probably
becoming a
just
woman.
because I started blow
like,
drying my hair.
I was like, there's a very there's something different about you over the year. Like you listen, that stuff was hard for you. Like you took on a new career, support system wasn't here in the same way, very nerve wracking. We all know that in real estate, like there's not a lot of support to begin with anyway.
Right.
Brokers don't do shit for you. And you did great. And you did 15 deals, which is huge. That probably puts you in like the top 5% of all real estate agents, if I had to guess. First year out of the gate, and you started doing deals immediately.
Yeah.
So let's talk about like real main stuff that I think is super important for agents. The first thing is, so you were with, and this is not to bash any particular brokerage, right? But my opinion on brokerage is this. There's a trade-off between commission and value.
Right.
And if you're a broker that is giving amazing value, then it makes sense for agents to be there, and obviously that comes with a price. Okay? But there's way more, like 98% of brokerages that are commanding very high splits in favor of the brokerage, and they're not giving the value. So I have nothing personally against DE, but at the beginning I said to you there's going to come a point in time where you're going to have to leave DE because I just feel that they're not, for what you have to pay or what people pay there, you're not getting what you need.
Yeah, I'm not.
Was that a lot?
I'm not here to.
Was that heavy that I said that?
Yeah, it was a little heavy.
That's not
I
heavy.
am not bashing DE. I loved Douglas
We're
Elliman.
not bashing DE.
And I feel like my journey is exactly where it was meant to be.
Don't be a politician here. Talk about real shit here.
I am. My mentor / manager, Douglas Elliman.
I really liked her. I thought
outstanding.
I thought she was excellent.
She really gave me all of the tools that I needed to kind of learn the business, how to navigate deals, just the very nitty-gritty stuff, to the point where now I feel like I could do these things on my own. I've kind of navigated the year in the business, and she really, really held my hand, which most managers and mentors don't do.
I really do.
She was amazing, and I'm so blessed that I met her in my first year, because now I feel like I kind of have these things beaten into me, and I can do it on my own a little bit better now.
Okay. So there came a point in time where I was like, you got to leave, because.
Yeah, you told me that a million times.
And this is just, again, what the fuck does my opinion matter, right? But I'm putting this out there for brokers who want to see this. When you have somebody that's developing that's going to be a star, and at this point you're a star, you're a social media star, you bring in,
thank you.
You bring in opportunity, you do. You being out on social media, repping whatever brand you're repping does get people to see it. It is free advertising, et cetera. And someone's starting to do deals, you have to reward them with support, finances, whatever that is, so that they feel valued and they stay. Otherwise, inevitably they're going to go. Mm-hmm. That's any business.
Right.
If somebody feels that they're not, being taken care of, whatever that might mean, and it's not always financial.
Yeah.
So ultimately, you ended up leaving, and where did you go?
I joined Dan O'Neill's team, which anyone who follows me, they were all told me that they were just waiting for it. But as you know, my goal was never to join a team. Love Dan, love everyone on my team, but it was never my goal. I wanted to be a single agent. I don't know really, it kind of was like a switch overnight that just felt right to me, and I made the switch, and I've been happy ever since.
And just to go to show that I don't pull any punches, when you said to me I'm going to go to Dan's team, and I love Dan like a little brother, I was like, don't do that, that's not for you.
Right.
Like, I think you should be on your own. A, I don't know if that makes sense for you, and B, we all know you have a problem with authority, so it's better for you just to run on your own.
Yeah, you did say that. And
but I think it's a good fit.
It's been a great fit. Opportunity was better, and the energy of the team was something that I was needing, I was missing. I obviously love Dan's presence on social media.
Great hair.
Yeah, and I think it was the right move for me, and I've loved it so far.
So let's talk about the journey.
Mm-hmm.
So agents want to know what you're doing and how you're getting deals. So you've been very consistent. So you've had, talk about how is it split up? Are you you're getting listings as a new agent, which is like very rare. So of the 15 deals, roughly how many are listings and how many are buyers?
I am definitely a little more buyer heavy than I am listing heavy. It's not equal. I want to say listings are about 5 or 6.
Okay.
And the rest are my buyers.
So you're like 65-35,
right.
which is very impressive for someone that just got into it.
Right.
So okay.
What was the question? Where are they coming from?
Well, so now let's get into that. So now that we know that, so if we're going to quantify where your transactions came from, where did they come from?
Personal, like sphere of influence, network, social media. So I constantly, since I got into this, I made a commitment that I was going to transfer the use of my social media for business only, and it's really helped me. I think I drill into people's heads every day that I'm a realtor. I keep a consistent schedule with my workouts, and believe it or not, that's kind of created a relationship with the people that follow me, so they know what I do. So I have people that will slide into my DMs. Like my sold one yesterday was a girl I went to college with, and I hadn't spoken to her in years, and she was like, listen, we're losing out on houses, things are falling apart. I see that you love what you do, literally, that's what she said. And I want to know if you want to take us on as clients. And then it happened like that. I got one from Facebook, just word of mouth, referrals.
So is this because you feel like you're putting all this stuff out on social media? Do you feel like you had an intense network of people before because you worked in hospitality and you're obviously a very outgoing person?
I worked in mortgages right out of college. I worked for a mortgage company. But a lot of my business hasn't even come from there, but I have been I feel like in the field, in the area.
What's
yeah.
What would you say? I'm going to take a story on this. What would you say has been the hardest part of being a new agent and your journey in general over the last year?
For someone who is an overthinker like me, it's always wondering where the next deal is going to come from. So you could be doing like really well, and I'm like, I'm never complacent, so I'm always worried, like, where is my next piece of business going to come from? What do I have to do? You know, if everything closes out, and this goes for any agent, it's just getting over that hurdle that we are not in a consistent business. We work for ourselves. We don't have a salary. So it's keeping that consistency.
Okay, so then how do you plan for that? I think a lot of agents, like your journey and your worries are the same concerns with anybody who doesn't get a paycheck. So how do you do that? So how do you sit down and structure, like, okay, how am I going to make sure I'm getting constant business? You know, what's the marketing look like? You know, what we started at, just let's get familiar with the process. Let's start doing social media. Like, if a new agent sits down with you today, now that you're a year into it and you've done it, and you say to them, and they say, hey, listen, based on your experience for the last year, how do I design my next 12 months to do 15 or better houses? What do you say to them?
You have to literally plan every day. I don't think there's a day that I'm ever not doing something, even on the weekends or my off days. It's sending out, you know, like I use BombBomb, which is the video emailing system, which I find works well. I'm constantly following up. I'm going through my phone. I'm checking in with potential old clients. It's mailers, it's social media. It's like a constant thing that you have to just keep yourself out there every single day.
So if you had to break it down and say to people, all right, listen, you're going to come up with a marketing plan. This is what you're going to do, kind of like, this is the first thing you're going to do based on like how much money you have, and this is like how you built out. Because you've gone through that process. Like now you're finishing up the Amanda Palmeri Sells website.
Yes, AmandaPalmeriSells.com.
Is it ready yet or no?
It's not ready. Jerome is making a couple of tweaks, but I am going to have a full service website, which I'm excited about, for all my potential clients to go on, have access to all information about me, signature, whether they're looking to buy or sell. So I'm excited about that.
Stop selling on my podcast. So
I'll sell what I want.
So talk to people about like the ramp up process. Like say to them like, okay, because you didn't have BombBomb originally at the beginning.
So I feel like for some reason love social media. It's free advertising. I'm really on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram is my main one. I made a separate business page on Facebook. And I didn't think it was working until now I start going out places and people are like, you motivate me to go to the gym, or I get messages like, you're killing it, you motivate me. And I'm like, oh my God, people are actually paying attention to what I'm doing. Like, who am I? But it works, and you build a following that way. People know like that you're beating into their head, that you're a realtor, and you're the first person that they think of when they have a family or friend, or even themselves that want to buy or sell. They're like, oh, the girl that works out in the morning and is constantly posting things about real estate, I'm gonna ask her. So I do get questions, even if it's from people who want to get into real estate.
How much of your business do you think has come through social media?
Oh my gosh, more than half.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then one of the next things that we did was you did the monthly email, which is to more keep up with, which is really like a page out of Brian Karp's book. We went to that.
Yep, I actually got that from Brian Karp from going to the event that you spoke at.
So, I know you haven't been doing that long, but like talk about what you put in the emails, because I see them like, and the way you've done it, we never really talked about it, but the way you've done it is very good. So like they don't come out too often.
No.
But there's not a ton of space in between them. It's like, it's valuable content. Talk about like, because agents like, most brokerages have some kind of a system where you could send out email blasts. What do you think makes a good email blast, the time frame, et cetera? Email blasts,
I kind of played with the idea of a newsletter, but a lot of people get so many emails every single day from stores and things like that when they just see type and these like generic things, they're just going to put it in their trash. So I liked when Brian mentioned that he does the video, because you're face to face. People kind of get intrigued when they see your face. They want to know what you're talking about. So how I've done it is basically the reels and the posts that I might put on Instagram, I gear those towards my clients who maybe aren't on Instagram. I go to my email database and I will send those same exact reels out, whether it's a tip, what I've done for the week, what's closed, congratulating my buyers or my sellers. Sometimes it's a holiday message that I'll, extend to them, but I could actually see who opens it. And I've actually gained a buyer from it who was kind of sleeping, and she kind of woke up and she's like, oh, I'm looking again, I need this. And it's my way to stay in touch with them. I can also email them individually, which I haven't done yet, but I can do that. So I feel like it's worked out, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you've been doing it for, let's say, like 4 months, right? Let's
4 months,
Let's say for 4 months, and it already got you somebody. So it's huge. So what else? Now you're doing the website. What are there any other things that you're doing on the marketing side?
Yes, so Brianna and I just got lawn signs. We haven't had a minute yet. We have huge lawn signs with my barcode on it that's going to be linked to my website and other whatever. And we're going to start placing those around, so I'm really curious to see if that works. I don't know if it will, but I've never done anything like that, so I want to see if it brings potential clients in.
So I think the real point that like people need to understand in business and in real estate is this is a process. You're not going to come in day one and be doing 40 different things consistently well. You're going to like lay out a plan, or the plan's going to develop and it's constantly going to change. Like how many times has the plan shifted? How many times have you and I had like a conversation where it's just like, you know, this isn't working, or try this or whatever. Like
weekly, we've had to like restructure everything. I feel like it's evolving, and some things just don't work. Like I still send out mailers. I've never seen, and I've been sending out mailers for about a year now, and I've never gotten one thing from it, but I still do it.
It's also a matter of like quantifying and the ROI. So like something like mailers doesn't really make sense, in my opinion, for a realtor, because what they cost and how many times you have to do it and the money you have to spend. Like guys
to get one,
guys that are really successful to do mailers usually send out anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 mailers a week at an average of even like 50 cents. It's a lot of money. And then when you look at it and say, okay, I'm getting 2% commission to be conservative on an average $500,000 house, does it really make sense? Is it the highest and best use of your time?
Yeah.
Talk to us about door knocking and cold calling. Have you done any of it?
All right, so this is Charles's favorite topic. I started real estate at the height of the pandemic, and where I was, like no one really.
I like how you positioned yourself.
Yeah, because
to the
as
camera
soon as I say that, as soon as I say the word COVID, he's gonna walk away.
F COVID. Fuck COVID.
We were not allowed to.
Not an excuse.
Cold call. I've actually never really cold called, so I really should start doing that, because it could open up a whole new Pandora's box for me. But we weren't allowed to really door knock, and we weren't allowed to. I think I door knocked a couple of times, but then Cuomo said that you can't go to the doors, whatever. So I didn't really do that because of COVID, but it's something that I want to get into. I'm just not really like well versed with it.
What, cold calling?
Cold calling, door knocking. I just get a little weird, like being super, super salesy with people like that.
No, you're not being super, super salesy.
So I just said it last week, a couple days ago, that I wanted to start door knocking.
Yeah, no. So door knocking, cold calling. So what are the goals so we have the goals for the houses, right? So a lot of people can set goals. It's important to set goals, short-term and long-term goals. But at the same time, how are you going to get there? It's easy to say, like, I'm going to sell 48 houses, but how are you going to get there? So this year you did 15, and you know, only really towards the last like 4 months were you really implementing a lot of these other things, like the website and all that. So, you know, let's say with doing the things that you're currently doing now, you're going to do 25. That's another, let's call it another 23 that you have to do on top of that. What are the things that you're going to add to like your tool belt in order to get those additional deals?
I think a lot of it, which is getting out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to try to do in 2022, is spending less time on the admin side of things, and like the emails and stuff like that, and it's really hitting the pavement and getting out there, prospecting out. So whether that's door knocking, networking, taking people to lunch, or like meeting people out during the day, that's what I kind of haven't been doing. It hasn't been easy with the last year, but I need to get my face out there more, for sure.
Yeah, so just think about it. So you did 15 deals just focusing on
the back end stuff.
And then also talk about agents, sitting in the office, talking about time delegation, talking about like self-motivation. How is all that like? How that's, because you're a person that comes from an office environment, so you're used to like getting up in the morning, going to an office, which you kind of do now. And that like we've been battling on. That's our new fight. Our new fight is.
This was a newfound fight, because you need to fight with me.
This is a new fight
on something, at least something.
Well, there's always a point. Like there's always like a stress point where I'm like, let's do it.
So. Yeah, I mean, I go to the office because I like the atmosphere. I feel like I get a lot done. And I'm focusing on just, you know, whether it's browsing through MLS, I'm looking for my buyers, or I'm doing the emails, or I'm doing content while I'm there. But I could be out more. So that's something that I think I need to do.
Yeah.
But it's just part of a routine for me, and I think at like this point, that's why I'm always there.
How, talk to agents about like, self-motivation. Because when you're an agent, everybody thinks it's like easy and you can do whatever, but it's not.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody there who's going to be pushing you.
They're like, oh, I'm great with people, I'm this, I'm that. It has nothing to do with that. You need to be a go-getter. You need to be able to face rejection pretty well. Things could be going one way and you think you're going to have 2 deals coming in and then they could both collapse, and you need to be able to brush yourself off and figure out what you're going to do to get another 2. And you just have to be a diligent person. You can't be someone that's lazy. I mean, I work out every day, I keep bringing it up, but that really sets the tone for my day, because when I got out of my 9-to-5 job, I didn't have a schedule anymore. I'm like, how am I going to get into this new career? Like, because if I'm making my own schedule, I'll just lollygag, I'll sit on my phone, so I made sure that I had something to get up for every day. I work out, I'm done by 8. I'm on a very like strict routine. I go into the office if I don't have like a heavy day. And then I'm just planning my day out literally hour by hour, and it has to be productive and something that's like progressing my business. So you have to be a go-getter. If you're lazy,
it's not going to happen.
Don't try.
That's why 3% of the agents.
Try, but don't expect to succeed, because a lot of people think they're just going to be handed, my family or friends are going to give me a deal. Like, I went on a listing appointment where the people told me that they had a family friend that they could have list the house, and then when I went there, they're like, oh, we don't trust our family friend.
Oh yeah, we fought about this too.
Yeah, we did. So
Yeah.
I had clients that came to my open house. They still have to list their house, and out of the blue, they text me one day and they're like, would you still come give us a CMA even if we don't list with you? I wasn't going to. I actually asked my mom, who was a realtor, and she said, you have to go. And then you said you have to go. So I went, and then it turned out that they were like, we don't really trust our family friend. So.
And listen, we're all guilty of this. Like, there's a lot of times where somebody will call me and say, oh, go look at a house. And I'm like, well, how much do you want? And they're like, $350,000. And I'm like, I know this thing's worth like $200,000. I don't want to waste my time to go, but I've like programmed myself because of things like that.
It could be a missed
You don't know.
opportunity or misconnection. You never know who you're going to run into or meet, or what kind of relationship you're going to establish with them, if they'll refer you business. And going there showed them, like, I drove 45 minutes to you, not super well versed in your area, but I'll figure it out type of thing. And I feel like that's who you want working for you.
Yeah, and now they just got an accepted offer on a property.
They just got an accepted offer.
And you're most likely going to be selling the house.
I'm praying that I'm going to list their house as well. But they were looking for 2 years for a house.
Yeah. So that's what it takes. It's about timing.
Not with me.
It's about timing, and it's about the right people. So,
yeah.
3 biggest misconceptions for about realtors. Like if new agents are coming into the business, right?
Oh, okay. I have one right off the bat.
What are the 3 biggest misconceptions?
Everyone thinks that it's glitz and glam, like selling Sunset. It's not. We are not on selling Sunset. Number 2, I would say, I don't know, this could be relative to me. It depends. If you have a large network of people, maybe the business would come to you, but I feel like you have to know that like you're going to face a lot of rejection, and people aren't just going to take to you just because you have a license.
Okay.
So there's other factors that play into you being successful, aside from just passing the test. And number 3, it's a very competitive market, and it's super saturated, especially here on Long Island, over the last, I would say, year and a half too, with everything that went on. Mm-hmm. People are using this as like another source of income, and everyone thinks they're going to be like the next best thing, but there's a lot of competition. So you have to really separate yourself.
3 biggest challenges you had this year. It could be personal, it could be professional.
Oh my goodness. Personal or business-wise?
Yeah, personal or business-wise. What are 3 biggest challenges you had during this process?
I would say the last year and a half for everybody probably was like transformative. I feel like I lost my job, I exited a relationship, my family moved away, and then I entered a whole new realm kind of by myself. I come from a very close Italian family, so it's like a big deal to me. But I kind of navigated all these things, and I think the pandemic gave us time to kind of slow down and, set goals and focus on the things that matter. So as hard as it was, I think it was a great year for me. Very productive, and I am very happy where I'm at now. But it was a challenge all around. You're starting a new job. No one knows what the hell's going on with the pandemic. Like, are we ever going to go back to normal again? Life was one way, one day, and then the next, it was completely different. So I think learning to just navigate that has been good.
3 biggest victories from this past year? 3 biggest victories, or pleasant things that you weren't expecting within business, like 3 kind of highlights of the year.
3 highlights of the year. I would say meeting you was one of them because I wasn't expecting to meet you, and I think we've been a good team. Number 2 would just be doing 15 deals in a year, never having sold anything before. And number 3, I would say, is being with Dan's team now, because I feel like I'm with my match of people. I love the whole social media aspect, and I'm just excited to see where we go.
How much, so I kind of want to transition with this. Talk to agents about how important it is to have the right broker environment. And this isn't saying one's better or worse. It's like a people relationship. 2 people can be amazing, but they just don't fit together. In a broker scenario, how important is it to have the right environment for you? And then how is this environment kind of
even though I switched brokers, I didn't switch brokers because I was in a bad environment or I didn't have help. I switched brokers because I was presented with a better opportunity. Had I not had the guidance that I had with Douglas Elliman for the year that I did, because I know how other brokers work, it's kind of, no one's really there in real estate to hold your hand. It's extremely rare. It's kind of like dog eat dog, you're out for yourself and you have to just figure it out. I was blessed with my manager, as I said, who literally would come comp out houses with me, come on appointments with me, would sit and go over the technicalities with me, and you'll laugh at me, but if I did not have her,
I really did.
If I did not have her, and that if I was just kind of left there, I don't know if I'd be in this position now. Because no one's there to hold your hand. They have to do business themselves and they have other people to worry about. So to have your hand held and kind of guided through this process to learn, every deal is different. And that's another thing I would tell agents. There's something to learn every single day. New issues arise. Every deal could be different. It's not going to be like the last one. So you're constantly learning. And she always used to tell me that. She's been in the business for 34 years, however long, and every day she's still learning something. So I think it's important that you find a broker that is going to be able to train you and teach you and show you the technicalities, because I've seen people that have no help, and it's...
You'd make a great politician.
So would you.
So what's different about your current environment?
There's a shit ton of energy, and we're all just on the same page. I think being with, not to say younger people, but people around my age, we all want the same thing. It's very motivating. We have a group text that goes off all day long. So as soon as someone gets an under contract and accepted offer, we're blasting it. And it's nice to have that support system, but also when you see your team members getting accepted offers and under contracts and sold, you're like, shit, I gotta get out there. I gotta amp it up. So it's like a healthy competition. I love them all. We have fun. And I just think it's an energy. You go in every day and there's someone there, there's someone to bounce ideas off of and check in with, someone to do content with. It's good. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, final question. 2022, goal is 48 houses. How do you feel?
Did I say that? My goal?
I said that.
Okay.
4 a month, right? 4
a month.
4 transactions a month, whether it's buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
Any other goals for 2022? How are you going to get there? Things you're planning on doing that you're not doing now that we haven't talked about? Anything for other agents to kind of look at and kind of, take a little piece of to put in their own arsenal?
I would just say never get complacent. I would like to do around 48 deals. I want to, like I said, get my face out there more, not just sit so much behind the computer, social media part of it. Physically, be out there and networking.
Cold calling,
door knocking, saying yes to every opportunity.
The website firing.
The website's going to be launched soon. It has a couple other little tweaks.
Higher level social media stuff.
Higher level social media, putting my signs out there, just stepping out of my comfort zone.
My downtown,
which you actually took that idea from me to make it your downtown.
It was.
But yeah, we've been doing the restaurant reviews, Ashley and I, so we bring a real estate fact from around the world, all different countries, and then we will review a local restaurant. So that's been a big hit with people, and we've had fun. It's been a way for us to meet local restaurant owners, and kind of tell them what we do. So that's been great. And just continue stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think people have to understand the biggest way you get business, like if I quantify my business at the end of the year, it's 85% relationship based.
Yeah.
And you can form relationships in a million different ways, whether it's going out to networking events, just being introduced to people. Social media is really that's the extension.
The gap, yeah, it bridges the gap.
So how you go about doing that and using social media is really the difference between people that are really going to take off and not, in my opinion.
Some people, as much as they try, and I hate to say it, they're not doing it the right way. Like posting a quote or a lengthy paragraph. I don't know if we've ever talked about this. I forgot who I was talking about it with, but you have to kind of get your face out there and build your own personal brand, not just throwing up static posts that you get from your company. That's not going to work. People want to see your face. They want to see things that you're bringing to the table and why they should pick you out of a million other realtors that they could choose from.
So, it's been an amazing year.
Yes, it has.
I thank you for the opportunity. In many ways, you've taught me as much as I've ever taught you, which is cool.
Thank you. You've done so much for me. So I'm very happy that we crossed paths.
I want to encourage everybody out there, and I'd love your feedback on this also. I think that everybody within the industry should do this kind of stuff. I think if there's other investors or other agents who want to take on these, 12-month kind of, mentoring roles.
I just want to interrupt you for a second because I actually never was going to reach out to you. Brianna, you added me on Facebook, and Brianna was like, oh, you should reach out to him. He's a wealth of knowledge. And I was like, oh, it's kind of weird. But I did. And now, look, so take chances. Yeah.
Good point.
That's what I would say.
But I think people in the industry should do that. And I don't think you necessarily have to be the same. I think if you're a seasoned business person and you're in mortgages and you want to help a realtor, you could do that. A realtor can help mortgage people. I just think that in the last couple of years, the ecosystem of real estate has really changed and become a lot more collaborative. And I think something like this would really help to keep that going and to build upon that.
For sure.
So if people want to get in touch with you, they want to list their house with you, they want help buying a house, whatever it might be, how do they find you?
I would say the easiest way is to reach me via phone, so 631-901-7015, and I'm Amanda Palmeri on all my social media channels. So
AmandaPalmeriSells.com.
And AmandaPalmeriSells.com.
Obviously, I'm the Handsome Homebuyer. If you have a house that smells like cat pee, dated from the 1960s, 6 inches of mold on the wall, I'm quick, I'm easy.
And I'm a good time.
Oh yes, that's right. I was just looking for I want to buy it. I want to buy it.
I want to buy it.
And obviously, if you need anything with permits, Captain Permit's got you from coast to coast. And by that, I mean Elmont to Montauk. We got Mike back there. Mike! Oh, sorry, went to lunch. Talk about one of your all-time greatest backfires. 516-513-8838. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Nice. Golf clap. Bro, I